In our previous class, we have discussed fundamental rights and Article 14, right to equality. In today's class, we will be continuing with fundamental rights. As we know, fundamental rights are enshrined in Part 3 of the Constitution from Article 12 to 35. These are very important rights which are fundamental for the development of every individual. Why we call these as fundamental rights? As we've discussed already, these are fundamental rights because they are guaranteed by the Supreme Court. They are guaranteed by the Constitution of India. And the Constitution of India is the fundamental law of the land. That is the reason why we call these rights as fundamental rights. And fundamental rights are justifiable in the court. That means if any right is violated, the aggrieved person can move Supreme Court under Article 32. And under Article 26, they can go to High Courts. So this is the beginning of fundamental rights, and we would be discussing today in our class Article 15. So we have from Article 14 to Article 18, it's broadly described as right to equality. So here we have Article 15. Now what is Article 15 in our Constitution? Article 15 prohibits discrimination. That is, Article 15 prohibits discrimination only on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. So here Article 15 prohibits discrimination. What is prohibition? Prohibition of discrimination. Discrimination is when you separate someone or when you distinguish someone unfavorably. ఒక వ్యత్యాస చూపించడం ఒక మనిషిని ఒక సపరేట్గా చూడడం అనేది డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ అంటారు. ఒక లాంటి వివక్ష చూపించడం. So discrimination is prohibited by Article 15 on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. Only here we use only on these 5 bases. So Article 15 prohibits discrimination on certain grounds. We have to know what are these certain grounds and what is discrimination. So this discrimination is basically for social equality. We are providing everyone, regardless of their religion, their caste, their gender, their descent or their place of birth. The state is giving everyone equal opportunity to progress. And that is the reason this article enhances or it gives social equality. And it also gives us equal access to public area. Public area here is anything which is funded by government, let us say park, tank, well, public restaurants or any places where every person has equal access. So here Article 15 discriminates, or we have a distinction where it is prohibited that any state law or any individual could not distinguish, or any state law should not distinguish a person on the basis of his religion. We say certain grounds. We would be discussing this on our next slide. So here the two important things are Article 15 empowers to have a social equality in the society, and it also gives everyone equal access to public area. So what are this public area and how this Article 15 improves or it provides basic for equality? When we say social equality, what are the basis for discrimination? What are the basis for discrimination? We have to know basis for discrimination is religion. One of the basis for discrimination is religion. Only is very important word here, because the state cannot discriminate a person only on these 5 things. So what is religion? We are heterogeneous society. We have multi religions. We have Hinduism, we have Muslim, Christianity, Sikh, Jainism and all. So a state should not discriminate a person on the basis of religion. And as we know, there is a racial system. We are wondered that in Western countries, even today, the state has many problems regarding this racial. People are being discriminated on the basis of racial. Fortunately, we haven't seen this in our India. We have very few instances and no instance that the people have asked the Supreme Court on the basis of racial discrimination. And because we have multi-caste system, we have caste system, so on the basis of caste also, the government should not discriminate any person. We can also say that the state shall not discriminate any person on the basis of gender. Gender discrimination is also prohibited. Gender in sense sex, male, female. So this is also discriminated, or a state shall not discriminate a person on these basis. And we have place of birth. As we know, we have single constitution, we have single citizenship. So the state cannot prohibit or cannot discriminate a person only on the basis of place of birth or his descent. So we have few exceptions for this. We have few exceptions. When we say only, we have only 5 bases, as we have already talked about that. That is religion, race, caste, place of birth and sex, that is gender. On these 5 bases only the government prohibits discrimination. That means on other bases the government or the state can discriminate. We can discriminate. Other than these 5 things, the state can discriminate the people. That is a positive discrimination. That is providing a special provision for certain classes. For example, we have women, we have children. When we provide some seats in train or bus reserved for women, that doesn't come under this discrimination. So children can be discriminated in certain things. Children cannot be given an employment in a factory where there is a danger to his life or to her life. So the things we have discrimination is only on these 5 bases. Other than this, state can discriminate, and that is where we call it as a positive discrimination. So we have equal access to public area. The before one when we say no person is discriminated on some basis, it is applicable to the state, and this is applicable to both private and state, that is government. So here when we say right to equality and when we say prohibition of discrimination under Article 15, we say prohibition of discrimination, that is giving equal access to public area. Public area is maybe shops, any shops, restaurants, malls. We have equal access. No person or no citizen should be discriminated on any basis. That is, everyone is eligible to enter the shop, to purchase, to have shopping. So no one could stop a person by entering the shops. So everyone has equal access to the shops, that is public area or public places. We have public restaurants. So anyone can enter any restaurant irrespective of their religion, caste and such things. So everyone has an equal opportunity or equal access to enter the restaurant and to enjoy their food. Hotels, public entertainment places like theaters or any other areas like parks, amusement parks, people can enter anywhere. So they have equal access to all those public places. Like we also have wells, we also have tanks or any bathing ghats. Earlier there was very strict orthodox society where people were prohibited to enter certain areas because of their caste, because of their lower caste. They've been humiliated. So because we have such a culture, our constitution has made it clear that no person be prohibited to areas of public usage. Anyone can enter. We have those orthodox things which have been removed in our constitution. Our constitution have gave equal power to everyone to have access to all those public areas without any restrictions. So this is a right to equality. We have a few exemptions for this. We have few exemptions. When we say discrimination, we also have protective discrimination. We have protective discrimination where we can protect women, we can protect child, we can protect our elderly people. So discrimination, the state can go for discrimination in certain areas where the state needs to protect certain sections of the people. Certain sections of the people, maybe they are vulnerable sections, maybe scheduled caste sections, scheduled tribe people, or economically backward society. So here the government can take steps or make special provisions for their advancement in the society, for their overall development. Because when we say right to equality, here we cannot expect everyone to grow at same pace or same level. Few peoples are elite, few are privileged, and few are not privileged, few are underprivileged. So it is the duty of the state that to make this equality a reality, the government should take or the state should take certain steps to make equal access or to provide a platform where the vulnerable section or where the underprivileged section have an opportunity to compete with the privileged section. Otherwise, we would not expect equality. We cannot make equality as a reality. So until and unless the state doesn't provide a special provisions for economically weaker section or for educationally weaker section, there is no equality. We have to make equality only when the state is proactive in making lives better of poor, vulnerable and underprivileged sections of the society. So this is mentioned in Article 15 clause 4. What it says? Promoting the interest and welfare of socially and educationally backward classes of the society. So we have certain sections of the society, for example backward classes, we have scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward classes of the society which they could not compete with the privileged section. So the state will interfere, the state will intervene and it promotes the interest and welfare of those people by bringing certain special provisions. By bringing certain special provisions, it will promote the interest of the people. For example, 93rd Amendment Act 2005 says that it has given reservation of 27% in higher educational institutions. higher educational institutions like IIMs, like IITs, and many central universities in admission. So students could avail this. Students could avail this getting admitted into these higher educational institutions like various central universities and very prestigious institutions like IITs and IIMs. So the state has taken a proactive step. The state has given a special provision for economically weaker sections and made them enter into these prestigious institutions. Otherwise, they could not compete with the privileged sections of the society. Here, we are making this provision for bringing equality, because we are talking about Article 15 and it is mentioned in preamble, it is the basic structure of our constitution, that the state has to strive to bring equality in the society. So these many amendments have given access to various sections of the people to education, for government jobs and all. So the state is striving continuously to bring a sense of equality, to bring an equality in the society, so that the fruits of development would reach everyone. So we also have a case in this. Article 15 clause 5, reservations about admissions into educational institutions. As we've already said, we have given 27% reservation for OBC category. In the same way, we also have reservations for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and recently we also had EWS, economically weaker sections of higher caste. This reservation is based on their economical conditions. If the person or if the individual from higher caste is very poor, then the government has given 10% quota for them also to avail these benefits, to bring equality in the society. 15 of clause 3, entire article 15 talks about equality. Equality, that is, we are prohibiting discrimination. We are prohibiting discrimination. So these are few exceptions. These are few exceptions where government will interfere or intervene by promoting or by bringing certain special provisions which helps the underprivileged section of the society to compete with the already haves or privileged sections of the society. So here reservations are exceptions to Article 15. So what is Article 16 here? Article 16 is equal opportunity in public employment. So bringing equal opportunity in public employment. Public employment is jobs under government or funded by the state. So here also we have few things to understand. Here also when we say right to equality, there are many exceptions to this. Everyone are equal or eligible to get into the government jobs irrespective of their religion, region, caste, gender or place of birth. So everyone are equally eligible, but again we have certain exceptions here. The state could have no discretion to allow certain persons or to make certain quota for local people, or it will decide on how much of the quota is given for non-locals. So the government or the state has discretion. The reservation to class who are not adequately represented. So the government could reserve certain seats or certain post in government sector where it could be reserved to certain sections of the people like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women, minority, etc. Where we know that in government offices certain posts are reserved, so they are filled by those people who are not adequately represented in the government sector. So government has an opportunity, government should take an opportunity to ensure that everyone is equally represented in state governments, or be it state government, be it parliament, or anywhere in any public offices. When we say equal opportunity in public employment, the state has to take responsibility that every section of the society should be represented in public office according to their population at least. So the reservation to class who are not adequately represented in the services should be given. So the reservation is the few seats should be reserved for them who are not adequately represented. This is to bring equality again. This is to bring the people who are not represented in the society, that is to bring those who are not adequately represented to participate in a decision making, to participate in the governance, to participate in the functioning of the country. Here another thing is, those who are not unequal cannot be treated by identical standard. Those who are not unequal cannot be treated by identical standards. See, when we say equals should be treated alike, you cannot treat a person, rich person to poor people. Those both cannot be treated equally. So, in the same way, a higher educated person and a person with a nominal education cannot be treated equally. In the same way, a strong person cannot be treated equally with a weak person. That is why the state has to take an opportunity to create a platform where likes are treated alike. Otherwise, the underprivileged, the weaker sections of the society should be given some sort of upliftment, so that the society he could compete with the current competition. In that same way, the reservation in educational institutions, reservation in public employment, or providing scholarships to the students, these things will enhance the lower category people or people from economically weaker sections to compete with the people of that level. So, we would be saying that Article 16 takes an opportunity of equality in public employment. So, we were discussing about right to equality under Article 16. We have few exceptions for right to equality under Article 16. When we say that there should be equal opportunity in public employment for everyone, we have certain exemptions. See, any state or any place, any residence or any state will not provide with employment for everyone. So here Parliament can prescribe certain norms, certain residential norms as a condition for the employment. For example, we have in Telangana, mana AP lo, Telangana lo, Parliament అనేది స్పెషల్ ఒక లా పాస్ చేసిబడింది అండర్ ఆర్టికల్ 371D. ఇది ఓన్లీ మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాలకే చెందింది. 371D ప్రకారం మనకి ఒక లోకల్ రెసిడెన్షియల్ అనేది ఒక కండిషన్ ఉంది. సో మన పబ్లిక్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్లో ఎగ్జామ్ రాస్తున్నప్పుడు తెలుగు సబ్జెక్ట్ అనేది కంపల్సరీ పెట్టారు. ఇతర రాష్ట్రాల వాళ్ళు తెలుగులో వచ్చి తెలుగు ఎగ్జామ్ రాయలేకపోతారు. సో వీ హ్యావ్ సర్టన్ కండిషన్స్, వీ హ్యావ్ సర్టన్ లోకల్ కండిషన్స్ విచ్ ఇస్ డిసైడెడ్ by the parliament. So parliament could make certain laws to decide on residence as a condition for certain employment. The state can also provide certain reservation for backward classes. We have seen where the state can provide reservation in employment certain in backward classes. So reservation is a subject where many of the people would compete. So reservation is provided for the equal benefit of all the sections of the people. And here one more exception what we have is a law to appoint religious incumbent. ఎప్పుడైతే మనము రైట్ టు ఈక్వాలిటీలో ఈక్వల్ ఆపర్చునిటీ ఇన్ పబ్లిక్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ అంటామో అక్కడ కొన్ని ఎక్సెప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. అక్కడే అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ రిలీజియస్ ఇన్కంబెంట్స్. సో కొన్ని రిలీజియస్ పోస్టులు ఉంటాయి, వాటిలో ఆ రిలీజియస్కి సంబంధించి పర్సన్ని మాత్రమే అపాయింట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. సో అది ఈ యాక్ట్కి అగేన్స్ట్గా అని మనం సుప్రీంకోర్టుకి వెళ్ళలేము. we cannot move Supreme Court only on the basis that certain post, certain religious post is filled by only those people. So here we are not violating any law, we are not discriminating anyone, because we have certain exceptions. For example, a Hindu temple where they will appoint a person from Hindu category, a Muslim mosque they will appoint a person from the same religion, and same way a church will appoint a father from the same community. So there are certain exceptions. We cannot move Supreme Court that there is no equality, there is a violation of Article 16, because we have certain exemptions to these things. So Article 16 has many provisions in employment. So we have to know Mandal Commission. Mandal Commission has been instituted in 1979, when Morarji Desai government has formed. That Mandal Commission has been appointed to look into the matters of backward classes. To look into the matter of backward classes, a Mandal Commission is BP Mandal, who was a member of parliament. He has headed this commission. So Mandal Commission has been appointed in year 1979. He has submitted report in 1980. He has decided, he has given the recommendation that almost 3,700 plus castes are there which are socially and economically very backward. He said that all these people, or all this section of the society represents nearly 52% of the population, of the total population. So Mandal Commission's recommendations given the report that almost 52% of the total population, excluding SCs and STs, almost 52% of the population are backward class. So he recommended that the government should take step so that they are equally represented in public office. So Mandal Commission's report has been submitted to the government. This Mandal Commission has been instituted, or the Mandal Commission has been established on the base of Article 340 mandates. It is mentioned in the Constitution లో ఆర్టికల్ 340 ఏం చెప్తుందంటే, ఒక కమిషన్ని గవర్నమెంట్ ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోవచ్చు, ఒక బ్యాక్వర్డ్ కమిషన్ని గవర్నమెంట్ ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోవచ్చు. దానివల్ల ఎంతమంది ఇన్క్లూజన్ ఎక్స్క్లూజన్ చేయాలో తెలుస్తుంది. సో ఈ మండల్ కమిషన్ యొక్క రిపోర్ట్ మీద ఆధారపడి మన గవర్నమెంట్ చాలా డిసిషన్స్ తీసుకుంది. ఇది 1979లో ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేసింది. 1980లో ఆ రిపోర్ట్ అందడం జరిగింది గవర్నమెంట్కి. 10 years తర్వాత, 10 సంవత్సరాల తర్వాత 1990లో VP Singh government, when VP Singh was the prime minister, he has provided 27% reservation for OBC. He has provided 27% reservation for OBC, so that these 27 reservation, excluding SC and ST రిజర్వేషన్ కాకుండా 27 రిజర్వేషన్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. అది మొత్తం 50% క్యాప్ని దాటకుండా చూసుకున్నారు. సో ద రిజర్వేషన్ గివెన్ టు OBC was 27%, which made sure that it didn't cross 50% of the limit set for the reservation. So VP Singh government has made sure that he has given 20% reservation for OBC section. Again in year 1991, when PV Narasimha Rao was the prime minister, he said that in this 27% the people should be selected on the basis of economy. So that before this before 1991 PV Narasimha Rao government has said that 27% for OBC was for everyone. So there was no economy as a standard, economical standard అనేది క్రైటీరియా లేదు. 27 రిజర్వేషన్ అందరూ ఓబీసీకి వర్తించింది. కానీ 1991లో పివి నరసింహారావు గవర్నమెంట్ ఆ 27%లో ఎకనామికల్లీ వీకర్ సెక్షన్స్కి ప్రయారిటీ ఇవ్వాలని ఒక క్రైటీరియా తెచ్చారు అనమాట. సో దిస్ హ్యాస్ ఫార్మ్డ్ ది బేసిస్ ఫర్ క్రీమీ లేయర్. ఒక క్రీమీ లేయర్ అనే కన్సెప్ట్ ఫామ్ ఇక్కడ అయింది. సో ఈ 27% 7% రిజర్వేషన్ ఓన్లీ ఎకనామికల్లీ బ్యాక్వర్డ్ సెక్షన్కి ఇవ్వాలని నిర్ణయం చేసుకున్నారు. సో we had a new concept of creamy layer అంటే ఆల్రెడీ పెద్ద ఉన్నత స్థాయిలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఎంపీస్ ఎమ్మెల్యేస్ కావచ్చు, సుప్రీంకోర్టు హైకోర్టు జడ్జెస్ కావచ్చు, లేదంటే గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫీసెస్లో గ్రూప్ 1 గ్రూప్ 2 సెంట్రల్ సర్వీసెస్లో ఉన్న ఆఫీసర్స్ కావచ్చు, వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు కానివ్వండి, వాళ్ళ ఫ్యామిలీ ఈ రిజర్వేషన్కి అనర్హులు అని చేశారు. సో క్రీమీ లేయర్ అనేది మనం డిఫైన్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఎక్కడైతే ఒక కాన్స్టెంట్ ఇన్కమ్, యాన్యువల్ ఇన్కమ్ ఇంతకంటే ఎక్కువ ఉంటుందో దే ఆర్ నాట్ eligible to avail reservation. So we have brought in a special thing like creamy layer which decides that only economically weaker section could take these benefits of the state already, which the people who have a privileged nature or who are already settled could not avail these reservations in government offices. After that, like we have Ramnandan committee, we have National Commission for Backward Classes has been established. We also could say that few things like now what we say that economically weaker section of the society in recently we have seen in 2019 the Modi government has passed this by 103rd Amendment Act, making giving 10% reservation for economically weaker section of the society. So on the basis of their annual income, if the annual income is below 8 lakhs, they could be eligible for getting government post or opportunity under 10% reservation. So higher caste people also, if they are economically weaker, then they could avail this 10% reservation. That is the recent thing. And here when we say there is a reservation in appointment or employment, by this 77th Constitutional Amendment Act, we also have given reservation in promotions. Reservation also been provided in promotions for SC and STs. So 77th Constitutional Amendment Act has given and said that reservation are also applicable for promotions in government employment. So that was Article 16, which guarantees equality in public employment. We have few exceptions. మనకు ఎక్కడైతే ఎక్సెప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయో కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ అక్కడి నుంచి ఎక్కువ వస్తాయి. సో వీ హ్యావ్ టు బి వెరీ కేర్ఫుల్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఎక్సెప్షన్స్. మనము ఈజీగా ఆర్టికల్ 16 అంటే పబ్లిక్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్లో ఈక్వాలిటీ ఉంటుంది అని చెప్పేస్తాము, కానీ ఎక్సెప్షన్స్ చాలా ఉన్నాయి. రిజర్వేషన్ క్రైటీరియా తీసుకోండి, క్రీమీ లేయర్ క్రైటీరియా తీసుకోండి, రిజర్వేషన్ ఇన్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ అండ్ ప్రమోషన్ తీసుకోండి, మండల్ కమిషన్ అండ్ వేరియస్ things regarding to it adi తీసుకోండి. So we have many things where we have very confusion type of questions. So we have to make our concepts clear. Just not knowing what Article 16 is, we need also to understand the basics of Article 16, how it affected the future employment process. So we need to be very clear here, and we should be able to learn few facts, know few facts also. Just not reading Article 16, we have to be very careful when we read sub-clauses. Article 16(1), Article subclause 2. So these are very important when it comes to examination and questions. Now moving on to other fundamental right under right to equality, it's Article 17. Article 17, we know it is an article where the old Indian Orthodox system has been questioned. When we say untouchability, literally it is not touching or not touching one. We have a very cultural context involved in this, and we have a system where we had faced many cultural complex things where the people has been humiliated on various aspects. So untouchability is not literally as we just see. ఇది చాలా డెప్త్ ఉంది ఈ వర్డ్కి. మన సమాజంలో we have seen many humiliations. సో ఈ అన్టచబిలిటీ అనేది ఆర్టికల్ 17ను అబాలిషన్ చేయబడింది. we have abolished untouchability according to article 17. so what is untouchability? Untouchability is not just a word, it is a practice. It is a practice which has been practiced for many years, for centuries. We have been practicing untouchability, but post independence we thought that in our modern constitution we should do away with the process of untouchability. We should do away with this heinous process. So we have made sure that article 17 addresses this. So this form of untouchability is forbidden. దాన్ని మనం తొలగించబడింది. ఈ అన్టచబిలిటీ అనేది చాలా ఒక రకంగా నేరమైన ప్రక్రియ. సో we have enforced that no one is discriminated or no one is humiliated on the basis of this system. It may be a caste system or it may be any other things where a lower caste people, where he comes across other person, he could not discriminate. So untouchability has made a criminal offense. Untouchability which is not acceptable in this modern society. We have by article 17 abolished untouchability. So it is a punishable offense by law. So we have various things in untouchability. This also creates a sense of equality. Abolition of untouchability, where anyone, any section of the society can have a dignity of life. He can go anywhere, he can reside anywhere. So the abolition of untouchability has given a sense of dignity to the individual. He has given a sense of pride to any individual. So how this is practiced? Generally we see untouchability is practiced when someone is insulted. As I generally said, untouchability ante literally touch చేయడం అని కాదు. అది ఒక ప్రాక్టీస్, అది ఒక ప్రక్రియ, కొన్ని శతాబ్దాల నుంచి వస్తున్న అదొక హీనియస్ ప్రక్రియ. సో ఇన్సల్టింగ్ సమ్వన్ బై టేకింగ్ దేర్ నేమ్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్, నువ్వు తక్కువ కులం నుంచి వచ్చావు అని ఎవరైనా చెప్తే అది ఇన్సల్టింగ్గా ఉంటుంది. దట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఇస్ ఎనఫ్. సో దిస్ ప్రాక్టీస్, if someone says that, he is punishable according to the law. Or ప్రీచింగ్ అంటే దాన్ని ప్రచారం చేయడము, అన్టచబిలిటీని ఒక రకంగా ప్రచారం చేయడము, అది కూడా ఒక నేరము. సో దట్ పర్టికులర్ పర్సన్ కుడ్ బి punished according to the law. Or justifying untouchability, ఇది నేను చేస్తుంది కరెక్టే, అన్టచబిలిటీ మా సొసైటీలో చాలా సంవత్సరాల నుంచి ఉంది అని ఆ అన్టచబిలిటీని జస్టిఫై చేయడం కూడా ఒక రకంగా క్రిమినల్ ప్రక్రియ. సో insulting someone by taking his caste or by making caste as the basis, by insulting them, or by preaching untouchability, or by justifying the nature of untouchability. So all these things are offense, like they are punishable according to the law. So we have changed the word untouchability, and abolition of untouchability has been given another name, or it has been renamed in 1976 by making it as Protection of Civil Rights Act. This may be seeming something awkward, that abolition of untouchability. So we have given a rename, we have given a new name by giving that protection of civil rights. Everyone has their rights. So civil rights are being protected by article 17. Everyone is equal. No one is like from lower caste or from higher caste. When we say abolished untouchability, we are giving more civil rights to any individual. We are empowering them to move the court if he is been offended or affected by the words of someone. If he feel insults, he could move the court by proper evidence. So by insulting, preaching or justifying. If someone had hurt his sentiment, then that particular aggrieved person could move Supreme Court or High Court for his protection of civil rights. So in 1976 we have renamed this Abolition of Untouchability Act, or have we given a rename or new name as Protection of Civil Rights Act. Okay, this is another fundamental right. In right to equality, we have Article 18. Article 18 is prohibition of titles. Prohibition of titles is someone like we have had when we've been ruled by British. Sir, బహదూర్ అని కొన్ని టైటిల్స్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు. అలాంటి టైటిల్స్ వల్ల వీ కెనాట్ హ్యావ్ ఈక్వాలిటీ ఇన్ ద సొసైటీ. కొంతమందికి కొన్ని పేర్లు ఒక అపెండేజ్లా పేరు పక్కన సర్ అని ఉంటే అది ఖచ్చితంగా ఈక్వాలిటీకి దారి తీయదు. సో వీ హ్యావ్ అబాలిష్డ్ టైటిల్స్. వెన్ వీ సే అబాలిషన్ ఆఫ్ టైటిల్స్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ దట్ వీ ఆర్ నాట్ respecting them in terms of distinction or in terms of merit. We have many exceptions to this. For example, military కానివ్వండి, ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ డిస్టింక్షన్స్ కానివ్వండి, వాళ్ళకి ఈ టైటిల్స్ ఇవ్వచ్చు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వీ హ్యావ్ డాక్టర్. డాక్టర్ని డాక్టర్ అని ముందు పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ టైటిల్. బట్ అదర్ థింగ్స్, అదర్ titles given by other any society, for example, cannot be used as appendage. So no title not being military, ఇక్కడ not being military or academic distinction అనేది ఎక్సెప్షన్. ఇది ఎక్సెప్షన్. ఇవి యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు, కానీ దీనికన్నే లైక్ ఎక్సెప్ట్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ వీ కెనాట్ యాడ్ దోస్ టైటిల్స్ యాజ్ అపెండేజ్. మన పేరు పక్కన ఆ టైటిల్ అనేది పెట్టుకోవడం ప్రొహిబిట్ చేస్తాం మనము. సో ఆర్టికల్స్ 18 prohibits using of title. Here, no citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign state. We cannot accept any title. వేరే కంట్రీస్ మనకి ఒక టైటిల్ ఇవ్వచ్చు, అది మనం యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయలేము. అదర్వైజ్ ఒక డిస్టింక్షన్ లైక్ ఒక పిహెచ్డి చేసిన తర్వాత డాక్టరేట్ అని ఇస్తే అది యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. బట్ అదర్వైజ్ వీ కెనాట్ యాక్సెప్ట్ సర్టెన్ టైటిల్స్. So we also had a much debate on this. For example, government will confer Bharat Ratna, పద్మ విభూషణ్, పద్మభూషణ్ ఇలాంటివి కూడా ఇస్తుంటాయి. సో అది కూడా టైటిల్ కింద వస్తుందా? వీ హ్యాడ్ మెనీ కేసెస్ ఇన్ దట్. బట్ వీ సే గివింగ్ డిస్టింక్షన్ టు అ పర్సన్, వాళ్ళ యొక్క వర్క్ని గవర్నమెంట్ గౌరవించి ఒక అవార్డ్, ఒక టైటిల్ ఇస్తే అది యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. కానీ ప్రతిసారి వాళ్ళ పేరు పక్కన అది అపెండేజ్గా యూజ్ చేయలేము. వీ కెనాట్ యూజ్ దోస్ titles every time as the appendage before their name. So accepting the distinction, they have been seen that they have been recognized by the government for their distinctive work. Adi service kanivandi, public service kanivandi, art, science, anything, they have been qualified for an eminent person, so that they have been awarded for their continuous effort in the society. But they cannot use that as appendage to their name. So we have prohibited using title because we are talking about right to equality. సమానత్వం గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు ఒక మనిషి యొక్క టైటిల్ని పక్కన పెడితే డెఫినెట్లీ హీ విల్ బీ మోర్ ప్రివిలేజ్డ్. కానీ సొసైటీలో వెన్ వి సే ఎవ్రీ వన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్, దో దే ఆర్ క్వాలిఫైడ్, వాళ్ళ వర్క్, వాళ్ళ ఎఫర్ట్ని వాళ్ళ గుర్తించి గవర్నమెంట్ వాళ్ళని సన్మానించడం జరిగింది. బట్ ప్రతిసారి దే కెనాట్ యూజ్ దట్ అపెండేజ్. So that is Article 18, where we are talking about not using titles. So where we are discussing, we have discussed in fundamental rights. We are talking about fundamental rights, and here we are talking about right to equality. This is right to equality from Article 14 to 18. Very important. So we just have a brief revise of this subject. What is right to equality and what are these articles? Article 14, we have seen equality before law and equal protection of law. What Article 14 says? Everyone is equal before law and all the laws are equally applicable to everyone. So no one is above law. చట్టం ముందు అందరు సమానులే, చట్టం అందరికీ సమానంగా వర్తిస్తుంది. సో ఆర్టికల్ 14 టాక్స్ అబౌట్ ఈక్వాలిటీ బిఫోర్ లా అండ్ ఈక్వల్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ లా. వెన్ వి సే ఆర్టికల్ 15, we are we are bringing more equality by having equal access to the public areas. We are prohibiting discrimination on the basis of what? We are prohibiting discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, creed and place of birth. So here we are ensuring that social equality is maintained. That is Article 15. It's a brief thing. When we say Article 16, it is providing equal opportunity for public employment. Public employment, here we had many exceptions as we discussed. We will be discussing few questions on this, but equal opportunity in public employment. Here also we have many exceptions, that women, children or from economically weaker section of the society has been given certain reservations to give them an equal platform to compete with the privileged sections of the society. So Article 16 ensures that equal opportunity is given in public employment. Article 17 prohibits untouchability. It is the abolition of untouchability. Where we could get social equality, we have to abolish untouchability. So Article 17 has abolished this, and that could ensure a social pride, a social feeling for the individual. Article 18 has abolition of title. No one should take title or use it before their name. So there is an exception for this. Distinction in military or other services are being recognized. Other than that, no person should use their titles before the name. So this is the basis of right to equality. Thank you for watching this video, and please do subscribe for Telugu One Academy. Thank you.